guys, so my name is Kayla. Welcome to my channel, Miss K. On this channel I'll be discussing fashion, beauty, and how to succeed in a capitalist society. I have pretty much a life update. I need to clean my makeup brushes before I go to work. So I only have like 20 minutes before I have to start working. I work from home, so I don't have anywhere to be, but I'm going to clean my makeup brushes and talk to you guys about some stuff that really just came to the forefront of my mind last night. So I guess I would like tell you guys how I came up to think about this. So I was scrolling on Pinterest. Before I even get into that, let's give the life update. I moved into our new apartment about 2 weeks ago, and that has been pretty stressful. I'm very happy to be in my new space though. I really needed it. It's a beautiful space and all of that went well. I'm also like getting ready for my license test, driver's test coming up really quickly. My birthday is coming up, and I'm also looking for schools to apply to. So there's been lots of good things happening. And so back to how I got onto the topic of today's video, which you all will see by the title, is about body dysmorphia and how body positivity, there's not really any space for people who aren't super or morbidly obese. So anyway, last night I was scrolling through Pinterest trying to get inspiration for my birthday that's coming up. And I've noticed this for a while, and it's always been this way, but Pinterest always shows super skinny people. And so I don't know what just clicked. Like usually it doesn't bother me. It's not something that I mind, but I've just noticed that if I try to recreate or gain inspiration from an outfit, I always feel that I have to have the skinny body to go with it. And so I've never been at my heaviest weight. I was a size 14, but usually I am a size 12. So I've never been like, technically I guess right now I would be obese, but I'm more of a mid or straight size person. So I felt like maybe it was attainable for me to recreate that ideal of what I now know to be super petite women, and not even just petite as in like a small frame, but a lot of time the super thin women we see in media are also short. And I'm pretty tall. I'm not like super tall, but I'm about 5'9", and so growing up I was always the big one because I was tall. So I could go on and on about how being tall and considered the big one growing up has affected me, but I really just wanted to dive into the body dysmorphia element of how growing up and hearing that you're big all the time, it really does take a toll on your self-confidence as a young girl. And even now as an adult with more perspective, I still struggle and battle with the idea of holding myself to unrealistic standards. And so by no means am I fat. Like by no standard am I fat, but I always struggle with feeling like I have weight to lose. And I feel that partially The reason for that is the language that was used to describe me or talk about me, whether it be in a playful manner or with malicious intent. And I'm not super sensitive about being tall per se, as far as like having other people like comment on me being tall or anything like that now. But I do remember vividly growing up, I was always trying to appear smaller than I was. And I feel like that's a sentiment that tall girls and women can relate to across the board, unless they grew up in a place where, you know, a majority, if you were the odd one out, like you were the super tall one and everyone else wasn't that tall, I feel like you tried to blend in, but that may have been different if you grew up around a bunch of tall people. But yeah, so back to being on Pinterest, I'm looking for inspiration and I just got sick of it. I was looking at all of these super tiny women, and no shade to them, of course, but it's like, it doesn't matter what I do, I'm never going to be this size. And I feel like I want to lose weight and I'm doing it, but my goal post can't be based on the imagery that I'm pushed online, because it's usually like super small women. And I remember being in Rome and we took a field trip to a couturier and they made dresses for super famous people like Audrey Hepburn, Jackie Kennedy, people like that. And so they walked us through the history of all of that, and they also had the dresses that were worn by these movie stars, first ladies, blah blah blah, back in the 50s and 60s. And so for the first time in my life, I got to see the ideal that I had in my head in person. And it's really crazy because we, as far as media, like in video, movie, modeling, fashion, we're shown these images and we aren't always given the full picture. So before I get into modeling and fashion, which I feel is very pertinent for me, when I saw the actual dresses on the forms, on the dress forms, these people that I had always aspired to match my body to seemed almost childlike. That's how small it was. It felt like I was looking at a small child. Editing Kayla here. I just wanted to specify that I'm not saying that small women are childlike. It was just a perspective thing. Like, to see someone who is idealized for being thin and pretty, quote unquote, in media, in person, in relation to me, especially when I lived in Europe and I was probably the smallest I'd been in years, I still was 2 to 3 times her size. So that's what I was getting at when I was there in person. And so this was back in 2019. And it was very shocking to me at the time, because it's like, even if I do get to, if I lose, and I feel like, what is my ideal weight? My ideal weight would be maybe 175. And that's only about 15, 20 pounds away from where I am right now. If I were to lose 80 pounds right now and be sickly underweight, I would still be way bigger than that. I would still be way bigger than this ideal that I had in my head. And so it made me realize how unhealthy my own standard of a healthy body, or, you know, the perfect size was. But even after then, I'm still seeing these images online, and it makes it seem as though that's the norm. Even though I rarely, if ever, see people that are, I don't know, my height that are that size, I still feel like that was sort of a goal for me, especially as an aspiring model. And so back to the fashion industry, something else that I have learned over time is that a lot of high fashion, what's it called? High fashion photography use teenage girls, especially back in the day, like 12 to 15-year-olds were the ideal time to get started as a supermodel. Not to mention the physical, mental, and emotional duress that naturally thin women put themselves through to force themselves into the ideal as well. So with my starting point, I feel like it's just not even realistic. As for me and my household, we gonna be for real. So it's really disturbing for many other reasons, but I'll just focus on the body image perspective of when you have grown women idealizing a child's frame as the standard of beauty. And that's something that I've had to really focus in on what my own ideal was, because I was pretty thin in school, and when I went to college I gained 40 or 50 pounds. Some of that was from, just, freshman 15 or whatever have you. And part of it was just because I was developing into an adult. And that despicable birth control, but I'll get into that later. It was a constant thing where people were commenting on my weight gain and how big I got and how fat I got. And it's like, I lost 15 pounds and I'm here where I am today. I still want to lose a couple pounds, like I said, but it's just disturbing to me how the standard of what my perfect body was, or what my baseline should be, was how I looked when I was a kid still. So that's just something that I've been thinking about, and I wanted to talk to you guys about because it's something that I know and that I'm aware of and that I still struggle with. So all of this to say, last night I started being intentional about searching for women who were in my size range to get fashion and beauty inspiration from, so that there isn't a cognitive dissonance of, why doesn't this look good on me? I don't feel comfortable in super tight short things because they ride up really bad. I don't feel good when I try to take what looks good on somebody who doesn't match my frame or who doesn't have a similar frame to me, to force it onto my own body, which is probably just causing more harm than good, because I never want to tailor my body to an outfit. Like, clothes should fit you. But I also wanted to start the conversation for mid-size or the lower end of plus size. I'm a size 12. Even if I lose another 20 pounds, I'll be a size 12, albeit they'll fit differently on me. But I feel that the body positivity movement has kind of erased anybody who is in that mid-size range, because it focuses on the extremes, and it focuses on alienating and demonizing super small women while also uplifting obese women. And there are many reasons why that was and is needed in society, but I think there's just a middle ground that gets left out. And it's really like it comes to the forefront of my mind because I am aspiring to model, and that market just isn't as prominent. And so I've also felt like guilt and shame about pursuing being a plus size model. Even though I am technically plus size, I don't have, I don't know, the frame that is, and there are two sides to that, because I do feel like I am the acceptable plus size, but at the same time, that's still me. That's still the passion that I have. So where is my place? And it's important for everyone to see themselves. And you don't have to erase one group to uplift another. So before I start rambling, I'll probably start, building more on this topic in later videos, but that was just something that I was thinking about. Let me know what you guys think, how you guys are tailoring your algorithm to help alleviate any problems with, FOMO or body dysmorphia, and to feel like you have representation for yourself. Leave some tips in the comments and let me know what you guys think, and I will see you in the next one.
Well, miss, I guess I'll be on my way now. You just give me a